Welcome to another connection here on TKO8 Television. Dennis King, thanks for joining us on the show this week. Each week we come into our studio here and have different organizations come in and talk about what they're doing. We have some great organizations in our viewing area, and many times we don't know exactly what their purpose is or what they're trying to do to help, and we want to make sure we disseminate that information out to you, and we hope we do. We appreciate you watching each week. Stay with us. Be back in a moment. We're going to talk with a young lady about a very important organization right here in our own backyard.
Crystal clear mountain streams, river rapids, and rolling hills with endless valleys. The beauty of the Ozarks we often take for granted. At Magnus Toyota, we never underestimate the value of our customers. As a third-generation family-owned business, Magnus Toyota has been operating here in the Ozarks for over 50 years. When we make a new deal, we make a new friend. Stop in and visit us today and see why our customers say we're the best. Magnus Toyota, your hometown Toyota dealer on Highway 65 North in Harrison.
Many things have changed over the years, and so has auto body repair. Even though Ozark Auto Body has been in business for over 30 years, they continue to change with the times. They believe protecting the environment is important and have done so by using environmentally friendly waterborne paint from PPG. This aligns with the technology used by original manufacturers and gives you a lifetime limited warranty. Quality PPG waterborne paint, ASC certified personnel, plus 24-hour towing service. Ozark Auto Body in Harrison, always taking pride in excellence.
Back on Connection here on TKO8 Television. Our first guest in the studio today is from CASA, and we appreciate Christy. Thank you, Christy Williams, for coming in. And we try to talk to you at least once a year, and you kind of keep us up to speed, and you do a great job. And I know it's quite a challenge that you have with the organization. For those people that might not understand, to say what CASA means, maybe just an overview, and then we'll talk about some different things that you do there.
Okay. CASA is Court-Appointed Special Advocates, and that's specifically for children in foster care. CASA was created back in the 70s when a judge said that they were making a lot of very serious decisions for children with not enough information. So CASA is a very unique program of providing facts, independent investigation, and bringing facts before the judge with recommendations for the next steps for the children in care.
I know that the CASA that actually Christie's in charge of, involved with here, it's you're the 14th Judicial District, and that covers what areas?
That's Boone, Newton, Marion, and Baxter counties.
Okay. Now, is your office actually in Harrison or do you have offices at other locations?
We do have an office in Harrison, and that's where we do the most of our program support.
Okay.
And then we have another office in Baxter County so that the advocates in that area have somewhere that they can touch base and work out of.
So do you have to kind of go back and forth in your job, I'm sure?
Yes, I do. I do. We do have an advocate supervisor in the Baxter County area, and she does an excellent job managing the advocates there and supporting them in their work with the kids. And then I do the same here for the advocates in Boone and Newton counties.
Okay. Just in a brief, maybe, Christy, just if I was a volunteer and an advocate, what would my responsibility, what would I do? How would I support these young people?
Okay. Well, first, an advocate has to be trained with 30 hours of classroom training so that they're equipped and knowledgeable on the situations. And then we ask that an advocate be willing to dedicate 10 to 15 hours a month to get familiar with the family and the situations that they're going through. And then there's an order that's issued by the judge that allows the advocate access to very private and confidential and otherwise inaccessible information to gather enough pertinent information to make a decision to give to the judge and a recommendation. And then from there, it's a piece of evidence that the judge uses to make her decision and her ruling on the case and what goes on next.
Okay. So it's basically that's the juvenile judge you're talking about. That
yes,
would be doing
Judge Layton is our juvenile judge for the 14th Judicial District. She's had years of experience in the ad litem position prior to winning the judge's seat. But our advocates do meet the family members. They work with the DHS workers. They work with therapists, school members, just anybody that touches the child's life, so we can get a complete picture of the needs of the child. And we're kind of standing in lieu of parents at the time, while the kids are being removed from their home. We're kind of still looking for those best interests, including just simple things like sports and all the things that makes a child's life healthy and rounded. And so we're not just looking at the facts of the case, but the continuing needs of the child while the case is going on. So there's a lot of meet and greets and getting to know family members that are so important to these kids. So,
Christy, on the kids that are involved here, what do you see most of the time it creates the situation where the kids are out of the family? What's some of the more common things? Or I know it's a lot of different things.
It is a lot of different things, but the biggest root of all of those different things that we've found is very rare that there is not drug involvement,
right.
Drug or alcohol involvement, domestic violence, and all of those things kind of go hand in hand because addiction is it's an illness, and those people kind of need some help to get the resources they need in order to become a stable place for those children again. Because it is important that the children remain in their home if at all possible.
Right. We've been doing a court show, as you know, for many since '98 actually. Started with Judge McCorkindale at the time, and at the time we thought of maybe asking if we could bring the cameras into the courtroom on Fridays for the plea and arraignments, where actually you see everything that goes on, and this is all felony stuff. This isn't traffic tickets and that kind of stuff. But we noticed there was a big surge of drug-related problems at that time, and we still go every Friday. And I don't always go, but through the years I've noticed it's unfortunately, like a lot of other bad things that are happening, it continues to grow, and more people are affected, and it is an illness. Very much, many families are destroyed because of drugs or alcoholism, obviously, and the byproduct of that are these children that you're having to hopefully help
very much
move
so
through the process.
Yes, and we're looking to help possibly break that cycle.
Yes,
because quite often these parents have been through similar situations in their own youth. Or they're medicating with drugs and alcohol to deal with what they did go through. So a large part of what we do is assure that those parents are getting the services they need to get healthy and to be a stable place so that their children can return and the cycle can stop.
Right.
And, the children are just the innocent in this. A lot of times people mistake kids in foster care as juvenile delinquents, and that's not the case. Statistics are stacked against them the longer they stay in foster care, that they have a chance of becoming a juvenile delinquent. But we've seen some great examples where the kids are escaping those statistics and having good outcomes. And that's what we're here for, is to be a steady in the middle of all of the unsteady right now.
Right. I'm sure that because of what you do, you interact with a lot of different agencies, from law enforcement to, as you mentioned, DHS, and there really is a circle of organizations that are having to deal with a lot of the same thing that you're dealing with.
Yeah, we've got some great organizations working. We all have our own piece,
right? And
we have to work from time to time with the Call, which is they're recruiting and training foster homes, and they just got 8 new families through the training, and that's exciting because that allows kids to stay in our area when they are taken, and it's not because we want. The main reason they need to stay in our area is because that allows them to stay in more of their familiar environment.
Yes.
Less things change. They may be out of their home, but maybe they can still go to their school. Maybe they can still go to any events or things that they do locally, any sports or any groups that they're involved in. So it's important to have those. We deal with Grandma's House. We deal with the CACD, which is the Crimes Against Children Division of the State Police. We deal with juvenile the juvenile division here that does help with when kids get in trouble. I know I'm leaving out a bunch of them, but
I know you cross over so many
there are
lines because of,
and it's a great support network. I mean, there's a lot of eyes on these children, and that's good.
Roughly, on an average, in the 14th district, how many kids would you have in the program on a given time, average?
Well, kids in care are running at about 200. There's just under 200 kids in foster care, and we're only serving about 40% of those kids right now in our CASA program. Our goal is by 2020 to have that be 100%, and that's a nationwide goal. CASA is a nationwide program, and our goal nationwide is to have every child spoken for, have a voice by 2020. And so we have a great need for advocates, obviously. In Boone County alone, there's 104 children in care right now.
Wow.
And so they're in various stages of their cases, but if we could have an advocate on every case, kids with advocates spend half the time in care waiting for a permanent, safe place, whether that's back home or whether that's on to a relative placement or adoption.
Right. I want to talk about your upcoming, obviously, your fundraising deal. But before we move to that, if somebody wanted or was interested, give them a phone. How would they contact you?
Right, they can contact our Harrison office at 870-743-2212, and we can get that process started, or they can email at info@casa14.org, and we can get them started in that process too.
And answer questions.
Yeah,
obviously.
you bet.
That's great. Got a fundraiser coming up.
We
and
do.
You obviously need funds. Let's talk about it. We got about 3 minutes.
Yep. Being a nonprofit, we do have opportunities to fundraise a couple times a year. We have some pretty big events. This is one of them. It's our annual chili cook-off. This is our 5th annual chili cook-off. And it is held at the Youth Center here in town, February 25th this year from 5 to 8 p.m. is when you can come sample the chilies. We've got about 20 cookers this year, and so it's building to be a great night. We have bouncy houses for the kids to play in while they're there, and SRM always comes and does some music for us and some DJing and makes the night fun. We have judges from the area here that are going to judge our chili, and we're going to have a People's Choice Award. We're going to have a Judge's Choice Award, and then we've added a catering and restaurant section this year because we have some restaurant and caterers that wanted to join in. So
that's nice.
That's a new division this year, but it's going to be fun.
Now, if somebody comes to taste it, is there a fee to get in for the public?
Yeah, it's $5.
$5, okay.
It's $5, and you just come in and get the little bowls and go around and grab up everybody's chili, and you're given a ticket to make your vote and cast your vote on the best chili.
Okay.
And you just wouldn't believe the different varieties of chili that there are. I had no idea.
I bet you do. Those are fun.
It's a good night.
Food tasting deal. So it's $25 entry fee. You still need sponsors, I'm sure.
Of course.
$100 if you'd like to sponsor it. All of it stays with CASA. All the money goes locally
to our
so
district.
You're not sending it off somewhere else. And really a opportunity to support a great organization. I mean, they really are. They touch a lot of people, and so if you could help, I'm sure that Christy and the staff would be very appreciative to that.
Very grateful.
Anything else? Did I miss anything on that? So obviously you still got time if you want to sign up.
Yes.
Just
contact our office. I think we have spaces for maybe 4 more cookers.
Okay.
That we can have, and always we've got room for more sponsors. We love how our community supports this program, and we're very grateful.
That's great. Well, Christy, as always, I appreciate you coming. I was thinking about you the other day. You were thinking about me. But we're always happy to have you come in and talk about the great work you do here. And obviously, if you're out there and you're watching the show and you'd like to know more about CASA and how you could become an advocate, please give Christy a call, and they can answer any questions for you. You might have enough time that you could spend per month that would make a big difference in some child's life and some family's life. And thank you so much for coming in.
You.
We'll keep advertising your chili cook-off here, and it's always a fun thing. I've been down there before, so don't forget about it. Coming up Saturday, February 25th, 5 till 8 p.m. at the Brandon Burlsworth Youth Center. Big chili cook-off. Go down and taste the chili. Give them $5. Goes to a good cause, and you'll have a lot of fun. They got all kinds of activities going on. Thanks again, Christy.
Thank you.
Stay with us. Be back in a moment. We're going to talk with some people from the Boone County Library and some big programs they've got coming up for the month of February.
Sam Alexander Pharmacy has expanded and is now offering many additional products and services. Their new pharmaceutical compounding area allows them to create products to fit the unique needs of a customer. They also have added Spinco orthotic shoes and sandals, Dr. Comfort diabetic shoes, baby gifts by Aiden and Ananias, and toys by Melissa and Doug. Stop in today and let them help you with any of your specialty pharmaceutical needs. Sam Alexander Pharmacy, your local Health Mart pharmacy in Harrison.
Here's another satisfied client from Dental Creations of Harrison.
My husband and I both needed to have dentures. I had looked online and we saw a picture of Wanda, just something about her. I thought this is the place we're going to do. And I called in and spoke with Dave, and he was just tremendous. He answered every single question the first call and told us what our copay would be. It was just an awesome experience.
Dental Creations on the square in Harrison, next to the Big Red Boot.
Back on Connection here on TKO8 Television. Dennis King, thanks for joining us on the show today. Our next part of the show has to do with the Boone County Library. We have two ladies that are here to talk about all the many things that go on at the Boone County Library, and we're fortunate to have a library like the Boone County Library right here in our own community. Eileen Clark, Beth Kaffenberger, I got that right, didn't I? Eileen, I didn't say Eileen, I said Eileen. That's perfect. So we're glad to have both of you here. Thanks for contacting us. A lot of great things at the library. You've got always a busy schedule. You send us a schedule. Sometimes it's 3 pages, sometimes as you go through the whole month. So let's kick it off a little bit. Maybe Beth, why don't you start off a couple, and you got some key events coming up, I know.
For the end of the month, February 28th, we have our annual seed swap. Roost comes in and they help us, I guess, and local farmers will come. I know we have the Master Gardeners coming, and Jasper's Farmers Market, they're coming as well. And what it is, it's an opportunity for people to bring their open, unpollinated seeds, and they can come and they can trade them with each other in a way to either plant new plants or start your own plants, kind of to keep the natural plants that are native, I guess, to this area continuing. So we don't lose those plants and whatnot. So that's going to be February 25th.
You know, that actually I didn't go. You have that every year, I think, about the same time. It didn't go last year, but we actually had a show, I think, 2 years ago with somebody from the library, and they talked about it. I thought, I want to go down there. I'm kind of into a little bit of that. I'm not into big-time gardening or anything like that. But I went down and just walked around and looked at some of the, and that's pretty, actually, it's very nice that people come in with their own unique seeds that and exchange those with other people and pick up some. And for a rural area like that we live in here, I think it's a fun event and also very practical for people to do. So, sorry, go ahead.
No, it's fine. It's from 12 to 2 this year. I know last year was a little bit different, from 12 to 2. And even if you don't have any seeds,
still
or
come. Like I was, I just came down.
Right, just come and check it out. You can learn something new from the farmers and other people that are there.
Yeah. What else you got going there?
Well, we have on February 10th, which is this week, Friday evening at 6 p.m. at the St. John's Episcopal Church, we're going to have our annual Burns Night as well. And Eileen has more information.
Okay. Eileen, what is the Burns? I didn't quite understand all that.
Okay, well, the Burns Night is a celebration of Robert Burns, who was... he was an icon from Scotland, and it was during the second Jacobite time when Scotland had lost their independence. And it was during a very hard time, very difficult time. And Robert Burns, he is a poet. And so a lot of his struggles, his hard life during this difficult time in Scotland, he did a lot of poetry that led into his musical interest. And so he wrote music and applied poetry to it. And so the band is a local band, the Crooked Creek Cayley Band. They've been here since 2005. And the music that they play is Scottish music and other Celtic music. But this February 10th, which is on a Friday at 6, is specific to honor Robert Burns.
Okay. So it'll be kind of a program, total program type thing?
Yeah, it's a full band, and in this band we have professional musicians and semi-professional musicians, and it comes complete with, a full harpist. We have fiddlers, 2 fiddlers. We have a bowron, which is the percussion. And then Kevin Clark, who is the leader of the band, he does play the bagpipes and the whistles. And so there'll be poetry and music. So a lot of people who either their descendants are from Scotland or they just enjoy the Robert Burns poetry would definitely enjoy this program. So that's why it's at 6 o'clock at St. John Episcopal, because it has grown throughout the years that we've outgrown the library. So
you need a bigger location.
Yeah.
Obviously. So this band, is it? I think I heard you say this correctly because I'm not familiar. They are basically local.
Yes, this band started back in 2005.
Okay.
And it has progressed through the years. Some of the band members have passed away. Brent Crow, I don't know, a lot of people know Brent Crow. He was one of the members of the band, and he passed away. So, but now it's been a steady group for the last 3 years.
Oh, nice.
And this group has been together. So they're just... They're an excellent band. I mean, people that enjoy Celtic music or Scottish music would really enjoy this program.
Well, it sounds like a very interesting evening for people.
And there's no charge.
Free of charge.
Free concert.
Great. Okay, let's talk about some other stuff. You've got a whole lot of stuff going on down there.
Okay. Well, in the children's department, being that it's February and it's warm, it just seems like, ideas just start coming together. But in our children's department, we have our ongoing Toddle Time and Story Time on Wednesday mornings, which is Story Time at 10 o'clock, and Toddle Time on Thursdays at 10. And that's with Miss Irene, and she is a fabulous storyteller. I mean, she really can engage the children and the parents that bring their children. So we get lots of grandparents, lots of parents. And so, if you haven't come to our Story Time or Toddle Time, I just really encourage the audience, to come check it out, because Miss Irene is truly a gifted storyteller.
Bring the toddler and come on down.
Yeah. Great. Singing songs, storytelling, crafts. So I just encourage parents and grandparents.
Okay.
Then we move on to our after-school program, which is basically the ages of 6 to about maybe 12.
Okay.
And those are on Thursday evenings at 3:45, and a lot of times they have story time and crafts for that, and that's with Jason. He's a young librarian.
He's been in with us.
Okay, so Jason is the leader of that, and then we have a special guest though for our after-school program, which is an author, and she is an author of juvenile books.
Can you hold those up to
over here?
There you go.
Okay. This is Kathy McCrite Dicer, and she is a local from here in Harrison area. And so she is going to be our guest author on the 9th, which is this Thursday at 3:45. So maybe many of our audience have read her books. They may not be an after-school child, but we would encourage them if they would like to come down and meet Kathy McCrite of the Confessions of April Grace. It's a very popular series here. They're very well written, very good books. So that's going to be February 9th at 3:45, and just ongoing stories and crafts for after school program.
Tell me about the blind date with a book. That was interesting. I saw that in your announcements, and I'm thinking, okay, I want somebody to explain that to me.
So Beth, do you want to explain it? And it's throughout the whole library.
So for the whole month of February, this is what we're doing. So, have you ever heard the expression, "Oh, don't judge a book by its cover," right? And so what we've done is we've wrapped books. So they're wrapped. You don't know what they are. They may have, I know downstairs they've written on the cover whether it's fiction or mystery or it's large print. So that's actually on the outside. But other than that, you don't know what book it is. And so you just have to have that, take that chance and say, well, you might be surprised. It might be something you never pick up before, but you really enjoy it. So when you check it out, at the front desk, you can write your name and phone number down, and you can enter our monthly drawing as well, and take it home and unwrap your book and see what you get.
So do you have to wait till you leave to unwrap it?
Well, yes, we encourage that. But they're also doing it upstairs as well, a little different for the easy books anyway, and for juvenile too.
No, the juvenile and teens are the same as downstairs in the adults. Now the easy books, though, what we have done is placed hearts into the books of the easy books. Okay. So if a parent or grandparent who's checking out the picture books for their children, if they find a heart, then they can borrow that book and take the heart downstairs and put their child's name in for a drawing at the end of the month as well.
That's cute.
So, yeah.
Nice thinking there, ladies. You always do stuff during the month. I don't know February if you are, but with the Buffalo River Partners, you guys do?
Yes, and we're still doing that. That's the last Tuesday of the month. So they're always the fourth Tuesday of each month at 5:30. And this month we're having it, and they're getting a professor in, and he's going to talk about the Hicks site in Rush, Arkansas. And so it's entitled If Walls Could Talk, or could speak. And so he's just going to tell a bit about the ruins that are there and what kind of stories they have to tell. So it sounds like it would be a really interesting program. We are so fortunate. A lot of people don't realize it, and I take it for granted, but the Buffalo National River has a tremendous amount of history, and we are in a part of the country that has a lot of history from years gone by. And I know the Buffalo River Partners have been very active in exchanging that information in various ways, and I know they do have a good partnership with the library. So that's nice to have them come in quite often, as a matter of fact, and have different speakers and exchange that information. We've got a couple minutes. What else? Got anything else? What about going into March, Beth? Have we got anything? Going into March, we're going to have 2 computer classes for those who may have no idea about how a computer works. Right. Maybe not even how to turn it on.
Just basics.
Basic computers, and possibly even how to use like social media as well. So that's going to be, just check the newsletter and the flyers for exact dates. Okay. I know we're going to have a morning class and an evening class for that, if people are interested in that. One of our own, Hannah, she works at the circulation desk, but she's going to be doing the classes for us.
That's great.
And then we also we're going to have a doctor come in and speak to women about women's health and how they can improve their health and live longer. And just sometimes women tend to focus on their husbands and their children, and they neglect to take care of themselves. So we just wanted to encourage that.
That's great. Well. So there's a couple programs and specific times and so forth. Obviously, you put it in your newsletter, and
we should have it on our website as well.
And be on your website as well. So great newsletter, by the way.
Thank you.
We get it. You send it to us each month, and it's got a lot of information. And if you'd like to get on the mailing list for the newsletter or email, go by and tell them. They'll be happy to put you on the list, and that way you don't miss all of these exciting events that they do at the Boone County Library. And they do a great job. And thank you both for coming in today. We really appreciate it.
Thank you.
If I don't get a hold of you each month and you've got stuff coming, give us a call or email us like you did. Thank you, Eileen, for doing that, and we appreciate it. Beth, thanks for coming in today. Right. Thanks for joining us on the show. We hope we brought some information to you perhaps you didn't know about, and we do appreciate all the guests that we have that come in on our show each week, and hopefully we get information out there that will help you or your family or your friends as you go forward. Thanks for joining us on Connection this week.